So, hello. Although I'm trying to wait for somebody to join. Still seeing hey. Okay. So I am Tamika Miracle King, your girl Tika Talks. And I'm going to wait for some folk to chime in so that I can begin to spill the tea that has come to me on tonight. Okay. If y'all still up, 'cause, we're getting a little older. Some of us might go to bed soon. Hello, somebody. Hello, Anyana. Right. Thank you, Lord, for life on tonight. For real. So, how was your day today? So you see, if you see the caption says, um, it's time to recall the promise. Now, I'm trying to give a little time, but if y'all like me, when I join somebody's live, I be like really ready for them to get started, okay? So anyway, here I am thinking, so many different things be going on, right? And have you ever received a promise from God and then life just starts happening, and so you don't necessarily see it manifest immediately? So you're just waiting. And then in your waiting, you might grow weary, and it's almost like you forget. You forget what he actually promised or what he said, and then you're just living. And in some situations, people feel extremely hopeless that things are not going to change, that the promise, was not meant to be, or you just forget about it. So I'm reminded that in Genesis, Abraham and Sarah were told, it was spoken to them that they would have their son. And a whole decade and some change went by. So imagine how you would feel if God gives you, a word, and then it just does not happen, and you're just waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting, in which some of us currently feel that we have definitely been waiting, and it hasn't happened. So tonight, he needed me to remind you to remember, and he just wants you to recall what he has already promised you, because he is a doer of what he says. Nothing that he says is not going to come to pass, okay? So with that understanding, then we know that he is real, for one. And secondly, that we can depend on him, and depend on him wholeheartedly. So, hey, Phyllis, the fact that he came back to Sarah to let her, to remind them of what he had already promised. Okay. So here, like I said, all this time done went by, and they going through, not understanding, like they probably was over it. Okay. Like, y'all know how we are. We want what we want when we want it. And we really do get upset in the process of waiting. Like, patience is big, and patience means to wait without anger or frustration. So how many of us really have patience and really actually sit and wait for things to take place in our life after we have prayed, and after we have got a response from God, or, whatever the thing is that we're waiting on, and it doesn't take place? Some of us get real peed off, okay? Some of us are over it. Some of us resort back to old habits and old ways because we don't see, okay, well, I'm making this change, God, and I'm being different, and I'm praying, and I'm, going to church, and I'm so different now. Like, why is my life this hard? Why are things so bad for me? Wait. Keep waiting. Keep waiting, because his promises are going to come through. It's definitely worth the wait. So, they did have it. Abraham and Sarah did have Isaac. They did have their child as promised to them, even though time had to go by, because God needs to strengthen our faith. And so we don't ever know exactly the amount of time that God is going to allow us to be sitting and doing and whatever while our faith is being built and strengthened. And you can only, your faith is only going to be built if you are experiencing things that make you doubt, situations that are just like, what? How am I going to do this? With what means am I going to be able to provide or to get by or to buy food or to pay a bill? How am I going to do that? I don't have the means. Or believe in God enough when he gives you an instruction, so after they had a child, then there comes a time where God is testing Abraham and he says to him that he needed to sacrifice his son. So here we have prayed for a child. You give us a child. And then now you want me to sacrifice this child. You want me to go and kill my son as a sacrifice to you. He didn't hesitate. So God gives Abraham the instruction, and Abraham gets up the next day and heads in the direction in which God had already instructed him to go. See, that's not us. Some of us, when God gives us an instruction, we keep screaming, oh God, I want to walk in your will. I want to do your work. Everything you're telling me, Lord, that's good. That's good. I want to do this and I want to do that. But when it really comes to you doing it, you really don't do it. And if you halfway obey, then you simply are disobedient. There's no in between. Either we obey or we don't. So, when he gave Abraham the instruction and Abraham gets up the next morning and they head out. No hesitation. That needs to be us. We need to understand that when God tells us to do something, and you can't just get all these instructions from God that you need if you're not using the basics. And the basics is the Bible. So if you're not willing to read and spend time with God to get to know him through his word, you're not even going to know what you need to do. But, we'll be screaming, well, I'm walking in the will of God. I'm doing this and I'm doing that. But are you? Do you? Be for real. So, he heads on to the mountain to sacrifice his son. But when he gets there, an angel calls his name and stops him from actually killing his son. So when he looks up, there's a ram in the bush. There's the sacrifice. But prior to getting there, when his son, who I'm sure was like, what is really going on? Like, you taking me up here? There is nothing to truly sacrifice in your hands or with us. And I'm going. But he trusted his father. Okay, his physical father, his earthly father. Isaac trusted Abraham. And Abraham trusted God. So although it didn't make any sense whatsoever, because there are many of us, if God gave us that instruction right now, how many of us would really be like, oh, okay, you're going to head up to the mountain to sacrifice your child? How many of us are really going to do that? But because he feared God, because he loved God, because, he trusted God, he was willing to do whatever God said, because to him, obviously, God knew more than he did. That's what we need to understand. When we instruct our children to do things, when we are giving them guidance and trying to keep them on the right track, we are doing what we do out of love. It's not because we don't like our kids. It's not because we want to see them suffer or, we want to make them uncomfortable. No, we actually do what we do because we love them and we want to guide them. So we, give them instruction. We give them boundaries, all in an attempt to protect them and help them. So here he is, done got up to the mountain. I'm sorry, let me backtrack a little bit. Before getting to the mountain, his son is looking like, where is the real, what I'm saying? Like, hey, what? We just going up here with... Abraham's response was, God will provide the sacrifice. Just like that. Just, okay. Like, I would be a nervous wreck. Like, for real, I'm on my way to go kill my child. Like, okay, I would be stressed out over that. In the natural. But when you begin to really trust God, then you trust what he tells you to do. Because it's necessary for you, for your next level, for all the things that you need. You know what I'm saying? You got to go with what God says. Period. No going back and forth trying to edit what he said. Well, you know what? I'm going to do this. But that part right there, I don't really like. So I'm just not going to do. We don't get that option. Okay, so if we truly want to serve God and we want to get in the right position to be blessed by God, we're going to have to listen. We're going to have to obey, and we're going to have to obey immediately. There's no need for hesitation because he already knows exactly what is to come. So if I'm leaning on him, I'm good. So yeah, you got to trust the process. So again, his son, had it been me, Lord, I probably would have took off running in the opposite direction. He listens to his dad. His dad said God will provide. Okay, let's go. We're going to get up there. And then when they do get there and he lays him down, going to get his little knife out, and then he hears the voice of the angel who stops him. Like I told y'all. So we don't even know. Sometimes God gives us instructions and we don't go to do it, but you don't even know how it would have turned out. But because of his obedience, everything, attached to Abraham was winning. Gonna keep winning. You know what I mean? Like, because it was attached to him, because it was in his, there you go, blessings for everybody that's attached to you. That's where we're at. God, I shall obey what you say in this season and every season thereafter, because I want what you want for me. I want to live the life you have promised me. I want to do the things you told me I should be doing, and I'm capable. So, you have to let fear go. You need to fear and reverence God, yes. But you also need to understand that God is going to be going ahead of you. Everything is going to be prepared just right for you, your situation, just for you. Not for everybody, all the people that you try to look out for in this season. Start to look out for you. And start by spending time with God, trying to grow in him, and then trying to obey him without hesitation. Because the more you put it off, the worse things seem to be for you. And nobody can rescue you from that. While we're really believing and we put all of this trust into earthly people and the things that they promise us, the things they say they're going to do, and you realize time and time again, these people fail you. And sometimes it's not even that it's their intention to do so. Some people don't know how to do what they say they're going to do. Some of us are extreme procrastinators, which that's like a slap to God's face, really. He gives us this day, and then instead of us making the best of our day and being productive and doing the things that we know he desires for us to do, we just sit around acting like, I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it next week. I'll do it next month. I may not do it at all. Now here we are in, it's January 17th. And many of us started the year real strong with all these goals and all these things that we said we were going to do. And some of us have already quit. Some of us have already stopped everything we said we were going to do. Because we're so used to being complacent. And everybody wants to just go steer back to what's easiest for you. But that easy thing is uncomfortable. It doesn't even do anything for you. It makes you miserable. So why stay there? Go ahead and do all the things that you think are so difficult, because on the other side of that is the promise that God has already given you. And I'm telling you, 2019, I'm coming. I got to go get what God has already said belongs to me. I don't need to wait. Every effort is going to match what I desire to see manifest in my life. I can no longer just sit back and allow the enemy to attack me day after day after day. And then I just sit down and dwindle down, like I have no power. I have the power that God has placed on the inside of me to trample serpents and scorpions. And listen, therefore I'm good. Because God has got me. So I don't have to worry. I'm not in danger. I am definitely rightfully seated and in position to obey and hear what God has to say. So that's it for tonight. I just want to encourage you to listen to what God says. And in listening to what he says, to recall what he has already promised you. To recall what he told you already. And then to begin to pursue that he has already put in you. Instead of waiting for somebody else to come along and say, okay, well, let me just tell you, you can do this. And you already know what you're capable of doing because it's on the inside of you. Y'all got to tap into that. Stop waiting for something magical to take place. And put forth an effort to do the things that God has already told you to do. See, we suffer unnecessarily sometimes, all because we want to wait. We just, I just want to put that off and keep putting that off and no, stop putting it off. If you want to see results, then you go ahead and put in the work. That's going to be the only way. So, right. That's it. So, okay, I absolutely love you guys. I want you to do what you do best at, is being you. Can't nothing get better than you being you. You understand? So I will see y'all live on Sunday night, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Y'all make sure to tune in because I'm going to be interviewing Consuela Oates, and she has an amazing testimony to share. So anybody who has experienced loss, and I'm talking about, this is the loss of her child. So her strength will give you chills. She is so awesome. So I want y'all to be sure to tune in on Sunday night, okay? Hi, Savannah. I love and miss you too, honey. So, okay, that's it. I'll see y'all. Y'all share the video. Share. Okay. Good night.